What is going on YouTube? I am Lamont at large, and today I am at the Rose Hill Cemetery here in Chickasha, Oklahoma. She died of a heart attack all of a sudden. Didn't have any health problems or anything of that kind. She died at home. It was very, very sudden and very, very shocking to the entire family. And she was quite young too. I believe she was only 32 years of age. This here is Luther Burt, February 17th, 1912 to September 10th, 1942. Luther worked for a rail line here in the Chickasha area. He was a brakeman. So in those days, a brakeman, basically what you're doing is you're assisting the conductor, you're manually applying brakes to individual rail cars. And about 11 o'clock at night, he was at work. I'm assuming he worked the overnight shift, and a terrible accident happened. He was in between two rail cars, and I guess the engineer of the train pulled the train forward, and that sudden jolt pushed him in between the two cars, and he was crushed. And by the time they got those cars separated, I mean, who knows how long he was in between those cars. They rushed him to the hospital where he was pronounced dead. I've always wondered with some of these stones what the story is of these huge gouges being taken out of it. Now, obviously, to inflict that kind of damage on this stone, you would have had to have struck it with some kind of a hammer or a chisel, some kind of heavy-handed object or instrument. And, you know, sometimes I think it's vandalism. Definitely couldn't be an accident. Or sometimes, you know what, sometimes I think maybe that a loved one just wanted a souvenir of somebody that they love, so they just chipped a piece of the stone and just kept it as a memento. Who knows? Who knows? This is George W. Hart. He was 34 years old at the time of his death. He worked for an oil drilling company. He would go down to West Texas or East New Mexico, probably work for, 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks, come back up here home for a few days, and then go back down. On February 15th, 1942, George was in a car with a group of men. They were down in Hobbs, New Mexico on the way to work when, for some unknown reason, their car crashed into the back of a truck that was hauling pipe. George was killed instantly, and his body was brought back from up there over here for burial. This is John DeKinder, February 21st, 1907 to May 14th, 1939. John was one of 9 siblings, and after graduating high school here in the Chickasha area, he joined the Marine Corps, and of all places, he was stationed in China. It is hard to think that we actually had forces out there in China, but we were there to prevent an outright invasion by the Japanese, so we were there to help protect the Chinese. It's amazing how, 80 years or so later, how the relations between us and China have been dwindling over the years. And because of the war between China and Japan, you have a very, very strong hatred by the Chinese of the Japanese, and of course vice versa. So he comes back after getting his discharge, honorable discharge, and he comes back to Chickasha, and he works as a plumber. on May 14th, 1939, for some unknown reason, he decided maybe he didn't want to be here anymore, and he swallowed some poison. I don't know what that poison was. His wife discovered him at home, realized what he did, and got him to the hospital as quickly as she could, but there was nothing they can do for him. He died on that day. And this is his mother, Bessie DeKinder. She died about 2 weeks after her son. She had a long illness. I don't know what that illness was, but I'm pretty sure his death possibly exacerbated it. And she died pretty young. She was only 52 years of age. And this is her husband, Elmer DeKinder, right here. And it appears that these are his brothers. That would be Robert DeKinder, his wife, Philip, William. There were 7 boys and 2 girls. I don't see any other DeKinder graves in this area right here. Rest in peace to all. Lawson Brad Fowler, a hard-working man, may your kindness live in those who follow. This is Lenora Lane and her husband, Edgar Neal Lane. They were both from Fort Worth, Texas, and they moved up here to Chickasha. Edgar worked for the Pontiac Motor Company, and Lenora was a manager at a local motel here in town. And in January of 1944, Edgar all of a sudden just keeled over and died of a heart attack. And about 2 months later, Lenora, she goes down back to Fort Worth because her father is sick in the hospital. And when she was down there, she got sick and was taken to the hospital, and that's where she died 2 months later after her husband. Okay, so I was walking in the cemetery and you approached me and you were just kind of not being nosy, but you're just kind of asking me, you know, about stuff, and you take care of the cemetery, so you walk around here and you pick up trash every day. I voluntarily pick up trash. Okay. And pay respect to all these people that are here. That is awesome. And so you wanted to show me this grave right here. Now, who are we looking at right here? Okay, this would be Dudley Henry Dickerson. Okay. Which he would be a senior. And his son is Dudley Dickerson, the actor from The Three Stooges, Amos and Andy, the Marx Brothers, and they were from Chickasha. The actor Dudley Dickerson was born in Chickasha. Okay. And he is buried in Carson, California. Okay, yeah. And he died in 1968. Interesting. And this, of course, is his mother. Okay, that's his mother right here. And then this would be his uncle. So would you want to show me over here? Sure. As you see, they all died in 1945. From Bernice,
over here to the majors.
So, okay, these are homemade, and they all died. Did they die in the same day in 1945?
Same day.
What did they die of?
In Chickasha, there was an apartment fire. 1945. And this little lady, I think they said she was 17 years old.
This Bernice.
Yes, and she was a young mother. And this is her child. When the apartment caught on fire, they were all in the house, or in the apartment together. And she got them all out.
Mm-hmm.
And the other two that are living that survived. Well, 2 days after the fire, she died of her burns.
Okay, the mother of that child.
Yes. But she saved all of the others. She got them out, I should say. She saved 2. She got them out before she died. Tragedy.
And who is this right here?
This is just a Confederate war veteran. And I have reason to believe that this gentleman and my grandfather served in the Texas Confederacy during the Civil War. And the reason why I say that is because Mr. Phillips, they were both in the Texas Confederacy. They were in Texas at the same time. After the Civil War, they both left Texas and they both moved to Tishomingo, Oklahoma. And the funny thing of it is, and I can't think of his name right now, my great-great-grandfather, his name is Cheney. But anyway, they left Texas together. They both went to Tishomingo together. And they all wound up in Chickasha together.
Were they friends, or did they just happen?
I believe they served together.
So they might have been chums or acquaintances.
Yeah.
Okay.
In some way.
Right.
James Madison Cheney is my grandfather's name. And there's a Cheney down here who is an offspring of those Cheneys.
Oh.
All of my Cheney family are all named after presidents.
Okay.
There's a George Washington Cheney. There's a John Madison Cheney. There's a Lincoln Cheney.
Oh, interesting.
They're all named after presidents. And the Cheneys were here since the 1740s. And 9 of those Cheneys were patriots to run the British out of here.
Interesting.
Yeah. Of the world. Okay. It was actually an insurance company to start out. Well, in the beginning of this country, there was an organization like the Freemasons, but they were lumber people. They worked in Kentucky and Tennessee and wherever there were trees, and they were building cabins and things like that. Then they decided when they organized, they got an insurance company. And when you died, that insurance company would give you one of these. And this one's not a very good example, but the logs pretty much state an age. And this tells you that when he died, he had no children. And I'll see if I can show you a better example. There's another one over here. See, they have flowers.
Yeah.
They have the leaves. and then they have the flower that's open.
Uh-huh.
That tells you that, yes, they had children.
Oh, okay.
It used to be however many knots the tree had, used to tell you how many children they had.
So how many children, did it tell you how many kids they have from the flower?
No, just shows that they, as a person, if they were a flower, that they had bloomed.
Ah, okay.
And when they bloomed, they blossomed, then they had children. Brother was one of the first air mail men. Right here, the Neville. He was a pilot for the U.S. Mail Service.
Okay.
And his plane crashed in Kansas. And of course, he died.
Mm-hmm.
And then his brother was in the Air Corps. And believe it or not, the poor guy, he died of appendicitis.
I think another kid over there that I was looking up died of that too.
But I just think they're beautiful stones. And on Find a Grave, you can see their pictures.
Uh-huh.
And it'll tell a story about the entire family. Captain Kaesler, he died in Metz during the Battle of the Bulge.
And you said that he fought with
Patton.
And normally I try to clean the graves before but you said you hung the bags to try to protect from all the bird poop. But so you clean this all the time. It's just
once a week.
It's just a never-ending battle with these birds.
That's why I'd like this tree cut down.
Yeah, I love trees, but in that regard, I definitely would be in favor of cutting this tree down just because I don't want to. I have a problem showing graves, but the history about this guy, I kind of wanted to show it, and I wanted to show that you're trying to do something about. Yeah,
he's a hero. But anyway, during the Battle of the Bulge, when the 101st was snowed in Metz, and they were surrounded by Germans,
mm-hmm.
and the German commander sent a message to the 101st commander to surrender, and his reply was nuts. And that's when Patton upped his army and moved them all the way across Germany to rescue these people.
Mm-hmm.
And they said it couldn't be done in 3 days, and Patton did it. So this guy is a legitimate hero.
Yeah, maybe we can get this cemetery to cut this tree down just because I don't want to see this stone in that kind of shape.
Yeah,
so
I agree.
Remember me, friends, as you pass me by. As you are now, so once was I. As I am now, so you must be. Prepare for death and follow me. Very hauntingly true, if I do say so myself. As she was alive, as I am now, as she is no longer here, I will follow her. I totally did not catch that guy's name before he left, but he has a Facebook page. You might want to go check it out. It's called Chickasha Rose Hill Cemetery Guardian. He has information on his Facebook page about this place. I did not find it on my phone, but if you find that page, tell him that Lamont sent you. I didn't tell him that I do YouTube. I just told him that I like looking at stories here. Anyway, so he told me something pretty interesting in this area. So this, of course, is a city-ran cemetery, and currently it's considered full, right? They're not selling any new plots currently. However, there is a massive amount of empty graves out here. And the reason why that is because, for instance, a family of 5 bought some plots in 1920, and people move, people go away, and they're never used. Also, you might have a woman who died and the husband buys 2 plots, or vice versa, and they end up marrying somebody else and they get buried with their new husband or wife. So he's trying to get the city to file the proper paperwork to get some of these plots returned back to city property so that they could be sold to people who want to be buried in the cemetery. Also, recently, I think he said not recently, but maybe about 10 years ago, they had extended the fence line in the cemetery. They made it further out about a few feet, enough to sell more plots all along the fence line. And a funeral home, who I don't know which funeral home it is in this town, but they bought them all. So I never really thought about how a funeral home could just come into a cemetery and just buy up a bunch of plots and just resell them, probably tripling their money. But I do enjoy running into people that, I see when I'm doing these videos or what have you. Okay, guys, so next story is a precautionary tale and a lesson to be possibly learned, maybe. And that is, be careful of who you date. Do your due diligence when you're dating somebody and you show some interest in them. Do your best to just be very, very wary of somebody that you meet, that you like, and that you want to marry. Enter one David J. Brown. So this guy is from Oklahoma. So back in 1983, he meets a woman named Leanne McGuire. She thinks he's a nice guy. Boy, was she wrong. She marries him, and the truth finally comes out. And the marriage lasts about 6 months, and then she files for divorce. This guy is a total loon. Now, over the next 5 years after their marriage, came a tidal wave of intimidation tactics, threats, verbal harassment. This guy was basically telling this woman, if you don't take me back, I'm gonna kill you. I'm gonna kill your mother. I'm gonna kill your father. I'm gonna kill any and everybody around you. Can you imagine? Can you imagine living your life in fear like that, where you have to look over your shoulder everywhere you go? Well, that's what she was going through. So in 1986, his ex-wife, Leanne, is, she owns like this beauty shop. So she's at work. This clown comes into the shop with a rifle and starts holding everybody hostage. I don't know how long it lasted. He starts threatening and screaming. Finally, the cops are called. This guy shoots an empty chair. Bam, this is what's gonna happen to you, blah, blah, blah. So he's arrested and thrown in jail. I don't know why he was given bail. This guy, he bails out of jail and he flees, jumps bail. So he comes back. It's February 1988. He's looking for Leanne. He can't find her. He goes to her parents' house, and over there is her father, Eldon McGuire. They start getting into an argument. And of course, David levels his gun at him, shoots him 8 times. 7 times in the body and once in the back of the head for good measure. He flees. He goes out to Louisville, Kentucky, and he contacts one of his friends, and he says, I messed up. I shot and killed Leanne's dad. About 2 weeks after the murder, he's apprehended. He's extradited back here to Oklahoma to stand trial. He is convicted of first-degree murder. And of course, in Oklahoma, they don't play that. He is sentenced to die via lethal injection. And that sentence was carried out. His last meal was barbecue beef with onions, 2 large French fries, and a vanilla shake. It sounds like a McRib combo from McDonald's. Maybe they got him that. I don't know. And his last words were, quote, "All I want to know is I want to tell y'all people that the state and federal courts that works on our cases and our appeals are nothing but a bunch of morons. Specifically, the Oklahoma Court of Criminal Appeals and the U.S. Court of Appeals for the 10th Circuit. My records prove this. That's it. Let's go." And on March 9, 2004, as the date is on his stone, the sentence was carried out. Now, technically, he's buried right here, right? And on the other side, I don't know in what relation this family member is, but says Johnny Amanda Mask. And I don't know, she died right when she was 13 years of age, and I don't know how they're related, but that's basically her stone, and that's his name on the back of it. Yeah, man, just, these stories never seem to get old. They never seem to be so obsessed over a woman. It's like, dude, there's plenty of fish in the sea. I don't understand. You did not have to kill that man. If a woman don't want nothing to do with you, she don't want nothing to do with you. And, but guys, like I said, he did a bad thing, but he has a family that still loves him, and they put his name on that stone. It is what it is at the end of the day. Looks like there's some stones here in the back of this cemetery, and I'm gonna guess that they're probably here because either they have some kind of damage and they're gonna be fixed, or they need to be reset, or what have you. This is the Jones family plot right here. And this grave right here is one James Peyton Jones. Now, James, I believe in life, this is kind of a guess, I believe he might have been a rancher. Originally, he was from Dexter, Texas, and him and his family moved up to Ardmore, Oklahoma when he was a little boy. And he continued to live in the area until he moved away. He came to the Chickasha area. Now, at the age of 62, for some unknown reason, he gets a job as a prison guard at the Granite Reformatory School in the area. I'm only guessing he was a rancher because it said that he lived on a ranch. So I'm assuming that's what he did. Don't quote me on that. So on February 17th, 1935, he had been at the prison now already for about 3 years, and he was 65 years of age. Well, there was an uprising of the inmates at that prison, and his job at that time was that he was a tower guard at the main gate. Now, I don't know how many prisoners rebelled or rioted or whatever, but one of the prisoners got a hold of a shotgun and turned it on him and shot him right in the chest area, killing him instantly. Very, very dangerous job working at a prison in any time, whether it was 100 years ago or today. Anybody want to guess what this guy's favorite pastime was? This is the Wooten family mausoleum, and the Wooten clan, if you will, were early settlers of the Chickasha area. I mean, these guys were probably here even before Oklahoma was even a state. And I peeked inside. I probably can't show you too closely, but because this is one of the rare examples of a mausoleum, a family mausoleum, that is actually somewhat full. There is at least, on this side, this is full. There's 12 people right here. And on this side, it looks like there's about, I want to say, yeah, 10. That is amazing. Yeah. Very rarely do I see, crypts or mausoleums or whatever you want to call it this size and they be full. These guys were basically owners of large swaths of land here. I believe they were in the oil drilling business. Big money. This thing was not cheap to put here. That's for sure. See if we could upright that stone. Okay, not too bad. I did the best I can. I've been here for about 20 minutes making sure it's not shifted. Since I don't have my trailer and I can't carry the stuff that I normally can carry, I just had to make do with those branches holding the stone. So it's been here about 20 minutes. It hasn't moved yet. So that stuff is going to set for about 24 hours. As long as nobody touches these branches, this stone should last 10 to 20 years. I used a little bit of Loctite. Yeah, I know, not the proper stuff to use to fix stones, but you know what, I say this, I'd rather use something that'll last for 5 years than to use nothing at all and this person's stone be down on the ground. I don't like that when I see that. So it looks like it's holding pretty good. Got Mr. Woodpecker up there making a ruckus. Is that you making all that noise over there? Live, but not live, but still alive by the grace of God. I am Lamont at Large once again. Rose Hill Cemetery, Chickasha, Oklahoma. I hope to see you on the next video. Catch up with you guys later. Have a good one. God bless. Peace out.